Hi, I am Centimus Prime, and here I will be showcasing my LEGO Dynazenon MOC. So right in front of me I have the separate LEGO MOCs I've made for the 44 separate components to form Dynazenon. That being Dyna Soldier, this guy right here, Dyna Diver, Dyna Wing, and Dyna Striker, all of which I've made separate videos for, and even made a nice short little playlist out of it. So if you want to check these individual MOCs out in greater details, I would recommend playing that playlist. But anyways, let's get right into it. First of all, I'll be showing you the parts I'm going to be using to form Dynazenon, that being these two two gray parts, gray joints, which are going to be important later, and this, which is also going to be important later, because this is what's going to form. This is the part that's going to form Dynazenon's face. And an interesting thing about this is, if I take Dyna Soldier, I take this part off. It's a simple 1x2 tile. I attach the face back here like that, and attach the tile on top of that. What I have here is, obviously I have Dynazenon's face on the back of Dyna Soldier's head. It's needed to be there for the transformation. And an interesting thing about that is, if I like swing this forward, like slouch him forward, then even when I have like Dyna Wing or Dyna Striker combined with Dyna Soldier, the face really doesn't get in the way of the articulation. So if you don't want like eyes on the back of Dyna Soldier's head, then it could totally stay there. And with that out of the way, I think it is now time to get right along into the combination. Start combining, as you will. So, first things first, I'm going to be prepping Dyna Wing, because Dyna Wing has the forming parts. So, we take Dyna Wing, we take these parts off, and then we take this part off from back here. Okay? Then we're going to set Dyna Wing off to the side for now. Oh yeah, and I've also made like a little stand for Dyna Wing. It's a simple stand using Galador joints and Technic bricks. Pretty simple stuff. So prep work for Dyna Diver. So what I'm going to be doing is going to take these little turbine pieces off, set these off to the side, split the legs apart, which are connected by a rod. Okay, go up here, rotate this entire thing up so the green parts are facing forward. Then we're going to flip this panel up. We're going to fold these panels back. Then I'm going to take this off. It's not, like, you can leave this on during the combination, but I take it off because it frees up the waist joints. If I leave it on there, it like restricts the articulation a little bit. But anyways, next what I'm going to do, I'm going to split this apart like so. Then fold these down, fold the little binocular piece down. And then what I'm going to do now is grab these parts, and what's going to happen is these gray studs are going to attach to the anti-studs up here, like so. Pretty simple stuff. These fold down. And now we have the bottom half of Dynazenon done. Next what we're going to do is to prep Dynasoldier. No, not Dynasoldier, Dynastriker. So what's going to happen here, this is going to get split in half. I'm going to split this in half. So I'm going to show you with this half, and then I'm going to quickly do the other half. So what's going to happen is, I take this piece off, set it off to the side. Take this piece off, set it off to the side. Adjust the hand, like rotate the hand, rotate the thumb, straighten out the fingers. Like, adjust the joints a little bit. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to take one of these joints, and it does matter which one. I built these different. Each side is different, has been mirrored, so it does matter which side. So I'm going to take this side, and then the studs. This one is the studs. Going to have it so that the side with the studs forward is going to line up with this. So what's going to happen is these. So this is going to connect to Dynastriker via these two axle holes, no, pinholes. Then there's a pin and stud connection there. And then you plug it in, and it's decently solid. Sorry about the stuttering. Let's rinse and repeat for the other side. Pretty simple stuff. Move around thumb, digits. And then we have that. Boom. We got both arms done. Okay. And now, finally, we're going to get Dynasoldier done. So what we're going to do with this guy is, first of all, we're going to take off the arms. Set those off to the side. Take this tail, flip it up, and then the legs are going to fold back. Fold them back. And then what's going to happen is when you're bending this up, this back claw thing is basically going to rest in this little hole. So like so. And then the rest of the front claws are going to basically fold over that. So, same thing for the other side. Let's get stuff, at least attempting to have this at least look somewhat symmetrical. And then there's the transformation for the head, which I'm actually quite happy of how it turned out. So how the transformation is going to work is you swivel the head all the way around, you bend the neck, you lean the neck forward, so the hinge is basically at a 90-degree angle. Then what's going to happen is the Dynasoldier head is going to swivel around until it is lined up with the Dynazenon face. Then what's going to happen is this dinosaur jaw piece is going to flip up nice and flush with the back of his head. Okay? Then we take this little thing that I took from Dino Wing. I'm going to rotate these fins around. Going to adjust them up so they're at a particular angle. Then what's going to happen is these gray studs in here, are going to attach to these anti-studs up here on this part. So you slide this in, and then push. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. There. Now we have a full Dynazenon head. And I do think it turned out pretty nicely. Now we can actually combine them. So we're going to take Dino Wing, and what's going to happen here is these gray studs back here are going to connect to these two anti-studs right here, between the two studs between this part and this gray part. The two anti-studs right here on this part. So like so. I hope that was clear enough. So basically after you connect that, you fold the midsection around the torso. And then the other two studs are going to connect to the same spots on the other side. Can be a little tricky, but it is doable. Next, what we're going to do is attach the arms. Now, how we attach the arms is, so basically these anti-studs right down here are going to connect to these 8 red studs right here. So it's going to connect like so. And boom. We got that decently solid connection. And we do the same for the other side. Now we have that done. And then finally, we take the bottom half, take the top half. Under here, there's a hole. There's a gray hole under here, and you're going to peg this axle, push this axle into there. And then after everything is said and done, boom. There we have Dynazenon fully combined into the Dynazenon form. I can't even get him fully in frame. Dude's kind of big. I'm gonna quick turn him around. And that's how he looks from behind. Try to put in as much detail as I can while keeping in mind of the limitations that Lego can have. That Lego parts can have. But anyways, now we can get along into showing off some like details. So there's the head. And I do really like how the cockpit looks here. The cockpit I used from the Lego Frozen storybook set. It is quite heavy. Now I'm going to get into the articulation. This is going to be fun. So the head is on a ball joint. A rather expressive ball joint. It can look down about that far. It can move side to side, wiggle around, and even look up that far. Pretty decent. The wings. They can hinge back and forth. And the iconic something beams are on a ball joint here and a ball joint here. These beams can move all around. Pretty good. The shoulders, they're on ball joints. And they move like that. Look at that. You can get a good range of movement from the arms. You even get a butterfly joint. Both forward and back. Pretty fun. Down here. Oh yeah, and up here we also have these little shoulder flaps that can hinge this way and rotate. But anyways, the elbows. They can move 90. Pretty good. They can even move 90 that way. Not sure why, but they can do that. It just hasn't really restricted that articulation. But anyways, it can also rotate here on a ratcheted rotation. That's pretty neat. And down here for the hands, we have a ball joint. Get a nice range from that ball joint. You can also use that other joint, like inward movement. And then the thumb is on a rotation, like on here, and on a hinge. And each finger is also on a separate hinge. And each finger is individually articulated. Pretty nice. Now we move on to the waist. The articulation of the waist is pretty decent. Oh, a piece just fell off. Anyways, it's only ball joints, so it can have a pretty good ab crunch, a kind of decent arcing back, side to side, and even the rotation. Unrestricted rotation if you remove this part. However, this connection is the single weakest connection on the entire build. And that is because of these 4 studs. Here's the axle. Keeps coming off of there. Keep putting it back in. This is the, remember this part? This is the part that was connected on the underside of Dynasoldier. The waist is only connected by 4 studs. And with it having to hold up, and with those 4 studs having to hold up the weight of 3 Lego MOCs, it's a pretty weak connection. Like I've done like numerous different types of building techniques and stuff. This is really the only way I can have that articulation and have it and have this the only way I can get all that articulation and have that seamless like combination or whatever. I'm gonna leave it off for the rest of the articulation segment to make it easier on myself. So anyways, there's the ball joint up here. Can do all that. The hip skirts, they can hinge on this joint. These front hip skirts are on this ball joint so they can move around. And the hip skirts on the side are also on a hinge. Like these can move out of the way a good bit. And then obviously the hips themselves are on a good ball joint. Ball joint, they have a nice hinge out, nice kick, nice kick backwards. Can even like wiggle, has like waggle like hip movement. My goodness. Anyways, moving downward, the knees are on that same Galador joint. It can move 90, and it also is on a ratcheted rotation. It's also on a ratcheted rotation. Very nice. And then finally, yes, these can still all individually hinge, and this and the ankles are on a ball joint, are each on a ball joint. The ankle ball joints, they have a nice range of movement in either direction. They can move around a good bit. They can pivot a good bit. You can move forward and back. You can like swivel them around and everything. It's like pretty good. Now we can unfortunately attach this back on here so we can continue this nightmare recording. Oh my goodness. The connection is very weak. I'm gonna lean them up on there so hopefully it won't fall apart. So anyways, our next segment is the accessories and features. I did make this guy with a couple of accessories being these parts. And what these are basically supposed to be is these are basically supposed to be like these green energy blades that that Dynazenon usually has. And they can easily attach onto the hands. So what's basically going to happen is So what's going to happen is these red parts are going to rotate forward. And then these gray studs over here are going to connect to this middle anti-stud and over, and the other one's going to hang about over here. So it's going to connect like that. Then the thumb rests over that, and then the fingers can rest on top of that. And then boom. Dynazenon has his green energy blades, and he can dual wield them and such. I know these are rather small blades, and I know that these look basically nothing like the green energy blades that Dynazenon has. And in case you're wondering, these are you can find these in a couple of Hero Factory sets with like the Surge 1 or the Hero Factory Surge 1.0 and Speed of Demon sets. But anyways, and you can dual wield them. I can't see why you wouldn't. I'm just not going to show that. What I will be showing is the fact that he can do that a whole full burst mode thing. So he can flip out these panels, revealing his Dynamonger burst missiles. Gonna move forward a little bit to flip out his something beams. I'm just gonna flip these out. And then what I'm gonna do is move the soldier's arms forward. And just like yes, I'm trying to do the full burst thing real quickly. So I rotate the hands, move this part up. We can actually bring these parts back and attach them how they were before. Just trying desperately not to have this guy fall apart. Actually, no, I'm going to leave those parts off. So there it is. So basically that's it. That's the full burst mode. Yes, I know I forgot the other panel, the other tire. But I want to get this recording over with. Like, no offense, but I'm really happy that I'm finally able to show my mock off on YouTube. But man, this is a real pain to record. But anyways, get him standing up straight. Boom. Standing up straight, because what we're doing next is we're now moving on to the size comparisons. This is the exciting part. So first of all, we have Dynazenon alongside a Lego minifigure. This is a very large build. Pretty large. Here we have Dynazenon next to my custom Siege Centimus Prime. Have a Scales next to a Voyager class transformer. It's pretty big. And, of course, here is my Lego Dynazenon. I'm gonna have to move in a little bit for this one. Here is my Lego Dynazenon right next to my Modroid Dynazenon. Right there, doesn't even reach his waist. And thanks to a comparison video made by FireRose16, I now know that my Lego MOC is actually bigger than the DX Dynazenon. How crazy is that? And I'm gonna actually bring out a measuring tape real quick to see how tall this guy is in inches. This guy is about 13.5, 14 if we're counting the yellow bits on the top. So 13.5 to 14 inches. That's pretty tall. Not as tall as the Lego TKR Studio Dynazenon, Lego Dynazenon,